So I'll start with a statement. Obviously we beat a heck of a basketball team. They're ranked number 2 in America for a reason. Danny Hurley and his staff have really put together just a very talented, well-oiled group. I mean, when you beat them, you have to really beat them. They don't beat themselves, and the fact they came in here 14-0 speaks for itself. They don't really need me to say anything that hasn't already been said, other than we respect them a great deal, and we know that we beat one of America's best teams today. I just can't say enough about our crowd without students. By the way, we had a lot of students, and hard to believe there would be a better atmosphere anywhere in the country this weekend than what we just experienced. And when you have a crowd like that, you owe it to that environment to really compete. And I thought our guys really did that in the second half, especially. We weren't perfect, but in this game we did it on both ends, and that's what we needed to do. So, just really thrilled with our performance today, and elated to have won the game.
How close was Jack Nunge to not playing today? Can you walk us through what he was dealing with and how that played out?
Yeah, I mean, with 30 minutes left before the tip-off, he was sleeping. I mean, we weren't sure. He didn't have a fever, so he was cleared to play. I think it was more of maybe food poisoning or something that happened. Woke up at 5 in the morning and, just had a hard time functioning. He looked awful. I wasn't sure. He wasn't at our shoot-around, didn't come out to warm up until late. And, I think that he started to feel a little bit better as the morning grew, but says a lot about him. I said this about Colby Jones a couple weeks ago. Not everybody's gonna give that type of effort to the team that Jack did here today, and he did the best he could. I don't think he's going to be up very late tonight. I mean, he's spent, but we needed him, and the fact he played 24 minutes and had 15 points, we certainly wouldn't have won if he didn't play.
Sean, the effort and the performance that Jerome Hunter gave you tonight, 15 points, the 5 rebounds, and he drew 5 fouls. Can you talk about him? And also he said that your message to them was be unflappable. Can you talk about those two things?
Yeah, Jerome has really bought into the role that we've carved out for him. He's sacrificed. I've said it throughout the last couple of months. Jerome's one of our best practice players. He really is. We keep track of everything in practice, and I believe he's one of our 5 best, and he's been that way since the onset of the school year. I have not seen a player do that and it not translate into the game. I think he had to calm his nerves a little bit from maybe earlier, but he's confident. He does a lot of things, but his ability to get us second shots, and defensively, he's starting to learn how to use all of his ability without fouling. And we're letting him guard perimeter players. He's guarding big guys, and he makes our defense a lot better when he's in the game. But the last 2 games, St. John's and today against UConn, he's a really big part of our team's success.
Colby Jones got off to a little bit of a rough start in this game. I think he had 4 early turnovers, and then he sort of turned the page. How would you explain how he went from really not looking like himself to making the winning plays that he did for you?
No, you're exactly right, and that was a big reason why it was 42-31 in the second half, because Colby alone was a much different and better player in the second half. I'm not sure what it was in the first half. His 4 turnovers, he just didn't look like himself. He didn't, but. Again, Colby is experienced. He's not a young player. He's been through these things, and he put that first half behind him. I also think Colby, I don't want to say relies on his shot, but sometimes when he makes a shot, I think it gives him a lot of confidence. And if you remember, he made a big 3-point shot early in the second half. I almost felt like from that point on, he really settled in. But he also did a great job on defense, and heck, we ask him sometimes to guard 2 different people in a game, and today was no exception.
When you played Indiana earlier this year, it was a close game and couldn't get to the finish line. zip ahead to now, you're playing another great team, close game, and you guys finish. What's different about the group now from where they were against Indiana?
Well, when we've evolved, we know each other a lot more. I think when you're a new coach, a new staff, it just takes a little bit of time, not just the summer months or the fall, but it takes games. It takes weeks of practice and, people getting used to a different way, different voice. And then, I think that what you hope with all college basketball teams is that you evolve and improve as the year goes on. Jerome Hunter, for example, when he played Indiana, is not nearly the player that he is today. And I think that we're better probably across the board. I'm sure they are too, but I referenced it the other day in that I didn't know if we were able to really finish a game of that magnitude back then. I do know we have it in us now. Even if today didn't go our way, we've progressed and we're a much better group than we were then.
You just beat the number 2 team in the country. How big of a deal is that for you and the program?
It's very big. Number one, it's big because we're playing in the Big East right now, and UConn is at the top. So to have a chance to play them at home and be able to beat them is a big deal. I'm not going to say it's not a big deal. It's you beat what I think is one of the best teams in college basketball. Whatever seed line they're on, they're going to be near the top. And for us to be able to have that win is a big deal for our team, for sure.
Sean, you're obviously familiar with Dan when he played and the competitor he is. When you played, you were a competitor in the Big East. What is it like coaching against somebody like Dan Hurley, who puts everything, a lot of coaches do, but he puts everything out there on the court emotionally?
Yeah, Danny does a great job. I've been dealing with the Hurleys now for like 13 or 14 years because obviously when I was at Arizona, Bobby was at Arizona State. I also know both of those guys as far back as when we played in college. I was on Bobby's USA team, played against Danny when he was at Seton Hall. So know their dad, respect those guys a great deal. And, every conference needs heavyweights. And UConn, to their credit, has become a college basketball heavyweight. It helps everybody. And when you're in a league with them, look, they're going to get everybody's best shot right now because of how good they are. And today, we had to play a great game to beat them in a tremendous atmosphere, and we were able to do it, which I think is to our credit.
What do you tell them after a game like this? Obviously, you've won 8 in a row. It's a big win. It's a resume-building win. But where do you want their heads to be walking out of here today?
Well, first, to be smart tonight on New Year's Eve, right? To make good decisions, lead themselves. Not make today the bad story. Make it a great story. But we've played 15 games now, and I feel like we've had a bunch in a row, especially over the Christmas break. This week we don't play until Saturday, and I think it's a good opportunity for us to take a deep breath, continue to be the best we can be, practice, and then I think at Villanova next weekend, and that's going to be a tall task. I'm just super impressed with the Big East Conference. Every game is just a real challenge. It is, and being able to win on the road is a tall order, and then you come back home and you're playing a team like UConn. Things can get away from you quickly. So we'll take it, move on. We're about at the halfway point, and we have to continue to get better and improve. I do think there's so many things that we did in the second half today that we've shown ourselves now that we can do it, which is on the defensive end, being able to get big stops when you need it, and hopefully that can be more of a part of our future as we keep going down our schedule.